Donald Trump actually lost a race in the Republican primary. It's the first and likely the last that he'll lose. And we're gonna get to his response because of course he can't just cop to the fact that he lost. He has to twist reality to make it seem as if that's what he wanted in the first place. But he lost. Nikki Haley won the Washington, D.C. Republican primary. It wasn't particularly close. She beat him by nearly 30 points, the sort of gap that if it was Donald Trump, he would literally never stop talking about it. And that is notable not only because it's the first race that he's lost in this election, but it is also, I believe, the first primary in a Republican primary state that was won by a woman. So that is actually history. Nikki Haley has made history in the Republican Party by actually winning that. It probably won't happen again until 2028 when Marjorie Greene sweeps 50 states or something. I don't know. But anyway, but don't worry, Donald Trump is doing fine. He's not mad at all. Okay, he posted, I purposely stayed away from the DC vote because it's the swamp with very few delegates and no upside except, the delegates, I suppose. Bird Brain spent all of her time, money, and effort there. Did she? I feel like she did some stuff in South Carolina and New Hampshire. I don't think. Okay, over the weekend, we won a bunch of states, big numbers, complete destruction of a very weak opponent, except it wasn't complete destruction because she won DC. You see, it would be complete if you had lost DC, but you lost. The really big numbers will come on Super Tuesday, which is probably true. Also, way up on Crooked Joe, which we don't have time to do a full thing on this, but I do want to just point out, some polls came out over the weekend. One had Biden up nationally by like 4 points over Trump, so that's fine. Others had Trump up over Biden nationally and in the swing states. And in that poll, he was narrowly beating Biden in basically all the swing states. Nikki Haley was demolishing Joe Biden in these swing states.
Oh my God.
If you're a Republican, you should sit with those numbers for a few minutes because it would not even be a race.
Before we continue with the story, we depend on members to keep on going. Don't wait, click join now on YouTube.
But I don't want the Republicans to win, so I love the fact that they're ignoring this. But that's why he had to lie about the fact that he's big up on Crooked Joe. Nikki Haley was whooping Trump against Joe Biden.
Damn.
But then he really well, hold on 1 second. He really starts to fall apart. Bird Brain is a loser. Virtually record low performance in virtually every state except the one where she beat you. Something DeSantis, something pledge. Well, she ran, she lied, and she lost big. He's still mad that she said she wouldn't run and she did. She's a politician, man. Like, you're gonna get mad at her for that of all things. You're mad about politicians lying. Okay, buddy, what do you think?
Let's be real. When the primary started, we were all rolling our eyes and we had to stomach the likes of Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis, and truly just on a level of thank God I don't have this much heartburn. It is nice that Nikki Haley is the person who's driving Trump insane and not even nipping at his heels, nipping at his footsteps. I don't even but annoying him enough, be in the bonnet enough to where he's freaking out. And of course, he's the most triggered by women. We've established this, so it's extra wonderful that she's a woman. And it is kind of cool. Yeah, she made history. I mean, look, here's the thing. You could look at the number of votes and you're like, all right, 1,200 votes, 1,300 votes, that's not very many votes. But wouldn't that just be like a natural Trump win? Wouldn't you assume that if there were that few votes in any Republican primary, that Donald Trump would just easily clean that up? As dessert or whatever? No, she won. And those polls, the story of the weekend truly should be Nikki Haley trounces Biden in a general, but it's not. And again, here we are, John, two insanely unpopular candidates, actually one for the Republican Party and one for the Democratic Party. And this is who we got somehow.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And it's weird because obviously we've been through this before. I don't know if anybody knows where I'm going with this, but back in 2016, we remember the general election polls that came out during the primary, and it's Clinton might be able to beat Trump. Bernie is whooping Trump. Let's go with Clinton. And wait, I don't remember how that worked out. Hold on, I'm gonna Google this one second. But now we're seeing it from the opposite angle. Now look, I do think, to be fair, I think that the Haley lead over Biden is more than the Bernie lead over Trump. It depends on when you look at it and everything. But like, it's so wild that they will not go for the almost guaranteed win that will deliver in the end the same policies. They're gonna give trillions
100%.
of dollars more to the rich. That's all they're gonna do. Maybe some racist stuff at the border, maybe a Muslim ban. Maybe they'll strip away some of your reproductive rights. I have no doubt that Nikki Haley would do that the same as Donald Trump. So they could coast. They could take like 70% of the money that they would put into the presidential race and just win so many congressional races and Senate races and governor's races and state rep races that they aren't gonna be able to put the money into, because instead they're gonna have Trump, who's gonna need the advertising, and they're gonna throw hundreds of millions of dollars at his legal defense. This is such a self-destructive political strategy.
100%, 100%. And honestly, like, she isn't that much to the right. I mean, people are gonna get mad at me at this, but like, on the border, on immigration, we've seen the way Biden has scurried to the right to try to make a deal with Trump, right? Like, Nikki Haley would sweep up an undecided vote. Nikki Haley would sweep up people maybe who went from Trump to Biden in 2020. She'd get them back to the Republican Party. She would get a lot of these like so-called middle of the road voters that somehow Biden is desperate to get, instead of growing the actual Democratic base with young people and people of color. He's put them aside for now. And so it would be a threat to everybody. I don't know, go Nikki, man. I mean, you're not gonna be the nominee. We'll see whether No Labels picks you, or have we decided that story's ended? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think they're still shopping. They lost Manchin, and obviously they're suffering from heartbreak over that. But
I know.